Welcome to Fundraising Growth Now, the arts and cultural industry's resource for actionable insights on raising more money and strengthening donor relationships. Your host is Bob Swaney, founder and CEO of Robert Swaney Consulting. Let's get started.
In our previous installment, I touched on RSC's PPP Focus, our patron preservation program designed to help our clients retain their patron base through these unprecedented times. And while the name may have received a few chuckles, we all know there's not much to laugh about in today's arts and cultural world, especially as we approach the fall of 2020 and our beloved institutions continue to struggle. Some organizations are taking their postponements month by month, while others are making the decision to be closed for an extended period, from many months to perhaps an entire year. I won't argue the merits of either approach here, but this much is certain. Even while arts organizations curb their offerings, successful fundraising must continue. And to accomplish that, you'll need to keep your patrons engaged and vested in your organization. Thus, the PPP program. In the early days of the pandemic shutdown, patron generosity was overwhelmingly positive. Turn your tickets for a canceled performance into a fundraising gift? Terrific. Change the focus of your sponsorship to accommodate the shutdown? No problem. Make a restricted grant available for operational support? Of course. Well, seeing the patron flexibility and support in action was both humbling and euphoric, and it was the true goodwill that our arts organizations needed at a critical time. It was mostly about the organization, too, and the patrons really came through. But now we're months into the shutdown with an unpredictable pathway forward. How far will this patron goodwill go during an extended shutdown? I don't know, and frankly, neither does anyone else. But patron goodwill can and must be extended, even as times remain difficult for us and for the patrons. How? Well, through your own patron preservation program. What makes up a PPP to help retain your patron base during a low activity and difficult period? Here are some ideas. First is to focus on mutual affection. That's right. Many of your patrons love your organization, and you have probably built pretty good relationships with them too. So don't let all that erode just because you've had to pull back on your normal public offerings. In fact, you should double down on outreach. It's about mutual caring, and just because you aren't producing your art doesn't negate the affection that they feel. And remember this, care about your patrons and let them care about your organization. Second, because they care about your organization, they want to routinely know what's going on. I mean, sure, your decisions affect them and how they spend their time and their money, but it's really bigger than that. Patrons want to be a part of the story even now. They not only want to hear about the decisions your organization is struggling with, they also want to have a voice rather than simply learning about the outcomes after the fact. So communicate often and don't always make the communication flow one way. You don't always have to give them a vote, but you should often give them a voice. Third, just be honest. Most of the news isn't positive and they already know it. So share the struggles, but don't stop there. Share the vision to recover and help them define their role in the comeback. And focus on the value and not the need. Your patrons are smart and caring, and they'll keep helping out provided they have good information and solid guidance and feel like they're a part of things. Fourth, be hospitable, be creative. What sorts of entertainment, art, learning, and information can you share online? Can you provide live yet distance experiences? Is there true engagement you can offer that will be appealing? You're a creative organization, so create. Also, this approach isn't all about donors. Don't forget that. And don't forget about your other consumers who may not contribute. Keeping all of your patrons engaged is critical, and an effective PPP works universally. So what about recognition and engagement, meaning baseline stewardship? We say provide what you can for donors at all levels. And for all of your patrons, find ways to engage and to be engaging within the current boundaries. Keep in mind that frequency is also key. Fifth, keep asking for support. If you've taken the proper steps to share affection, communicate effectively, remain inclusive and creative and engaging, then the chances are you can extend patron goodwill that can result in highly preserved relationships and continued generous support. So if you remember one thing from this session, remember this. If you're looking for creativity, then be creative. And if you're looking for engagement, then be engaging. And if you're looking for generosity, then be generous. Patrons will invest in you if you invest in them. And as we've all heard, you get out of it what you put into it, and I bet your organization has a lot to offer no matter what the challenge is. So let's focus generously on preserving the patrons, artists, leadership, and institutions that make our communities great by keeping everyone highly engaged.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of Fundraising Growth Now. For the latest insights and information, please subscribe to our channel, follow us on Facebook, and join our mailing list at rscfundraising.com.